No, you know what? Here's one. First Descendant is a free game, isn't it?
Yeah, but you really don't want to go with a free game because they're a pay game.
Oh, man, you're right. Well, hey, they're getting more players than First Descendant. I heard First Descendant dropped off. Now, its all-time peak 7 months ago was nothing they'll never see, ever. But in the last 24 hours, they only had 13,000. But their peak was 264. But yeah, you're right. Was PUBG free or not free?
It was free.
Oh wow, and it is kicking butt. PUBG is slaughtering. The thing is, most of these live service shooters are free.
Yeah.
But like you said, I agree with you. The fact that you know somebody that has all of it says it to me. They're riding the whales, man. They're riding the whales like champs. They've got people spending $600 on the game.
Sorry,
you know
Guffy, you're a whale now.
I mean, he owns all the DLC, which we added up to when you add in the game to be almost $600 on one game.
Oh no, I'm gonna make fun of him when I see him at work.
You should make fun of him when you see him at work. He should have privated. He will learn today. You gonna learn today. Sometimes you gotta educate them.
Oh man.
You be like, say, cuz, I heard you like to spend money.
Luckily, Guffy has a good sense of humor, so.
I mean, maybe you need to try it out, man. Why don't you buy it and play it? You like westerns? You were doing that not Grand Theft Auto. I'm about to say Grand Theft Auto Cowboy.
Red Dead
Redemption 2. I mean, it is basically Grand Theft Auto Cowboy. It's Grand Theft Horse, I guess. But yeah. So, you know.
Everybody gets to see where Q sleeps. You know, like your entire background is your bed.
Yeah, I normally fuzz it out, but ain't nothing to see.
Anyways, let's get started.
Because when I do the other stuff, it gets weird. There you go, blur. That make you feel better?
Yeah.
How about we do the caverns? I'm in the caves. We're on the moon. We need to get some proper D&D looking. Well, no, screw D&D. Lord, the new D&D. All right, don't get me started. I could hate on the new D&D for a minute. There you go. I'm in outer space. Where no one can hear me scream about how bad all the games are.
Alrighty. Welcome to Dicejunkies.
Starfield. You know what? It's just like Starfield. It's empty.
There's actually there's probably a Starfield. I know there's a Halo background on there.
This is effectively the Starfield background, dude. Yeah. This is about what you found. This is about as empty.
Or no, actually, it's Teams. I know my Teams has like a Starfield and a Halo, but so I'm surprised Skype doesn't as well. All right.
Hey, there's more in this. There's more on this one because there's a black guy here. Like that's more than you find in most of the Starfield planets. You're usually just wandering around.
Oh.
There are very few NPCs that matter. That I'm so sad. I almost downloaded it to play the DLC since I have it, and I couldn't get through it. I just stopped and just said, you know what? I'd rather go try Avowed because if I'm going to waste my time, I should.
Oh no, I'm
on a fresh waste. I'd
much rather replay Starfield. But I actually enjoyed Starfield. So
the magic,
one of the few.
The magic looks okay. I'll be fair. The magic looks cool. Now, doesn't seem to do any damage once you get to the higher tiers because everybody I know that loves the game, I've always asked them a question: how far are you in the game? Oh, I'm still in the first area. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna swing back around in a week and see what you say. That's basically because apparently the first parts, man, that first area, bam. Then you get to the next area and you're like, ooh. Then you get to the next area and you're like, Then you can't get past the third area because your game save corrupts. And then you start over and you go, well, the first area is pretty good.
They didn't really have much corruption problems with game saves.
Who did?
Starfield.
No, I'm talking about Avowed.
Oh, Avowed. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I totally switched over to Avowed. I was talking about, No, dude, Starfield's dead. Don't beat that corpse. Like let's maim the one that's still bleeding.
I don't think Starfield's dead, man. Hell, Microsoft says it's not dead. They're still planning more DLC. They wanna No Man's Sky this thing, man.
Hired the dev director, the game director from Concord to make Halo. Microsoft is a necromancer. They don't respect corpses. You cannot go on them if something's dead or not. They'll weekend and Bernie's the heck out of something, and you know that. Starfield is being weekend and Bernie's, and you know what? It's not even the first one. It's not the good one. We're on like Weekend and Bernie's 3, like Honolulu Vacation or whatever. We're a disrespectful puppet show, like corpse treatment here, man. Microsoft has no dignity.
I mean, you gonna talk about bringing up the dead. I want to talk about Crytek then. So, did I ever do the introduction, or did you interrupt me?
Oh, you didn't do nothing.
Yeah, you kept interrupting me. Welcome to Dicejunkies, Xenodamus, and with me,
Q.
There we go. I don't care you interrupt me or not. Just keep going. Ha!
You're learning. You're learning, Padawan.
All right. So let's talk about you were before we started the intro. You were talking about the dead, and Crytek's laying off 15% of its workforce and placing Crisis 4 on a hiatus because they want to focus on a game they released 7 years ago.
Hey man, we found out why. With our incredible investigative skills at Dicejunkies, after this odd termination and focusing on a single game, we said, why are you focusing on this, like, 5, 6, whatever year old game instead of making new games? Like, literally just going, dude, all we care about is this. Then we found out.
Well, yeah, I mean, the game, well, first of all, dude, I mean, looking at the numbers,
they're not that impressive, no.
They're not that impressive. I mean, 21,000 at a 24-hour peak. Now, I will say, obviously, they've done something to keep the game going because this is one of those cases where the numbers have moved up over the years and not down.
Yeah, but that spike was lonely. That spike was it, and then it went back down to a pretty stable number.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, look, man, release only had 10,000 and it quickly dropped.
No, I know. I'm just commenting that their peaked and dove almost immediately, though. Like, to me, I don't know what they did to get all those people to play or if that's even legit almost because it's so weird. Because, come on, man. Is that a 24-hour drop? Like, what is the difference between that peak and the
I don't know.
Drop?
Like, it says
15th of August.
It says the release was the marketing message. I don't even know what that is.
That's why I'm wondering the legitimacy. No, go to the drop and tell me what day that is. Go right there, that little corner there. It doesn't give it that day. Yeah, that's the next month. So at least it wasn't a literal, like it dropped in a day, but still, that is one of the fastest plummets I've seen. I mean, that thing dove down sharp. Not quite as sharp as it rose, but I mean, it still dove really fast. Yeah, like that was only a couple of days. That's probably a week or two. So whatever happened, it jumped somehow to hit its quote new peak. It didn't even maintain it. I mean, come on, dude. That's not even 24 hours. Tell me I'm wrong. Look how sharp it is. I can
Low
fight
Skill God in
point.
the chat room says that was when it was re-released as 1886. It was basically a relaunch. It was Hunt Showdown. Now it's Hunt 1886. Okay. This is a game I had never heard of. Like, I was shocked by the whole thing. I'm glad we have somebody in the chat room who knows more about it.
That's one of my boys, man. Yeah, he's cool. He keeps us company. You know, but no, like I said, look at that point, man. Like, so you can fight vampires with that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I can go on Monster Hunter and use that spike. That is a amazing drop. So that means a bunch of people jumped in, started this game, and then basically did like I did that game on Game Pass I told you about, that Eternal Strands or whatever, where it's like they couldn't. I didn't tell you about that. I couldn't even get through the tutorial. I told Low Skill God about it. I went in there, man, and I know I'm a grumpy old man, Zeno, because the characters annoyed me so much I couldn't finish the tutorial. I said, I'm not listening to this no more. Uninstalled that shit. I'm like, you're annoying, your bird friend's annoying, and I don't know who this dude with the ponytails is, but he's annoying. And I just said, I can't handle these voices.
And I will say the Crysis series has never done exceptional. I've enjoyed all the Crysis games, though. And that's why I sort of, I guess, stick on this.
You don't know where the next big one's going to be, though. Crysis 4 might have been the one.
I've always enjoyed Crysis. Crysis has always been that, it's always tried to make basically your computer cry. And I'm also that guy who's like challenge accepted and goes and spends way too much money on computer parts.
Oh, hold on, Zeno. You trying to say that Crysis stands for Cry System?
Yes. Yes.
Cry System. You're sitting in a room and going like, is it getting hot in here? Is your computer just giving off more heat? You know what I mean? Just... But no, man, I mean, we checked it out, though, to go into it. This game is clearly surviving on the fact that it's got some people that are willing to spend some money, because it has over 60 DLCs totaling up to $530-something, which means with the game, especially if you go deluxe or something, you could literally end up spending $600 on this game.
Now, they do have a bundle where you can get everything for only $367.
Oh, well, that's a steal. Shut up. So we're guessing they're focusing on it, and then we looked at the reviews, and the reviews were just hammering it for like cash grabbing, like really, you know what I mean? And I while the game does look cool, I watched it when it first came out. Cartoons played a bit of it with H2 Delirious and a few others, and it looked fun. It looked interesting. I'm not into PvP games, especially shooters, as much. I'll stick a toe in, but I prefer the PvE versus PvP just because I'm not young enough anymore to be a tryhard. I don't have the time, man. You know, got kids, responsibilities, and you got to be on it for most PvP games to stay competitive. But it looked really interesting. I mean, if they ever did a PvE in that game, I would actually probably give it a go. Well, not for $300-something. Around and like that'd be the scrub and the base kit and like you broke, and I'd be like, nope, this game ain't worth it. Like I need to get a new router. I ain't got time for that. But yeah, I mean they've got to be, because for them to focus on this game with that size of player base, they have to be making a lot of money off of those 21,000, because that spike stopped, as you saw, way back in August. Like that was a while back, man. It's friggin' February 2025. They've been running on 21,000 people and felt that it was worth stopping Crysis 4.
I mean, from what it sounds like, man, this game is funding their continued building of CryEngine. So,
I mean, apparently it's managing to fund everything well enough that they're willing to throw everything away, you know, and put a game on hiatus that they probably need to crank out a new game, because they haven't put out a game, for what I'm understanding, since this was 5 years ago, for a while. Now, it did have a reboot or reconfiguration, but even that is now rounding more than half a year old, I think. Let me do my math. Yeah.
Yeah, about half a year. A little over 6 months.
Yeah, it's been a little over 6 months. So you're 6 months since you released and updated a 5-6-year-old game, and you're not even cranking out numbers. Like, we looked at Team Fortress, we looked at PUBG because PUBG was recent, we looked at Team Fortress because it's even older.
Here's my thing. I mean, they say it's bringing them money and they want to focus on it, but at the same time they had to fire 60 people. So
those 60 people were working on Crysis 4. That's the answer to that, yeah. But here, remember what I told you? I said, I don't think they need 300 and something people to run this one game. So in reality, this is probably just the opening salvo. More than likely, they're going to cut it down to 200 or less if they're just going to focus on one game.
I mean, I don't get it. Yeah, no, it seems dumb. Hopefully, Crisis 4 isn't eternally RIP.
I mean, I get it if this was Fortnite or Apex Legends or one of those when we saw the numbers where I'm like, I can see you saying we're going to stick on the cash cow. It's raking in the money. But those companies are boasting 500,000, 250,000, 500,000, or 750,000 players, depending on which one of the three I mentioned, PUBG and stuff. That's crazy. Like, you get that. But they've got to be raking it in. Oh, I finally finished Lies of P, man. Because that DLC announcement, I went and just, cheesed it. I threw acid at everybody until they died and beat the game.
Congratulations.
I hate their parry system, man. I just threw acid. I went and bought 99 acid files and big ball bearings and fire and lightning bombs that I threw. I don't think I hit a sucker with a weapon, a boss. I killed the last 3 bosses by spamming equipment because the game was beautiful. It was a beautiful game. It's just their combat was crunchy. But at least I can now say I finally finished it. So I'm ready for the DLC. So boom.
All right. Well, I mean, yeah, since you brought up the DLC for Lies of P, this was one of the announcements that came from the State of Play.
Prequel? Huh. That's weird, because looking at the game and the combat, it's going to be odd for a prequel where your character is way better at fighting than he is by the time you get to the game. I guess we find out how he ended up in that chair, though. Unfortunately, that also bothers me because I did a lot of leveling to beat that game, and I'm going to be annoyed if the DLC is going to bust me back down to 1.
Yeah. I mean, it's a prequel, so that's most likely.
Low skill god to reply to you. I've already looked at it. You can play as Ghostface. They're cash grabbing, man. When you see Ghostface in a Western, you know that they're just selling skin.
Yeah. All right, but yeah. So, PlayStation State of Play, February 2025. A lot of Xbox games, man.
I mean, PlayStation doesn't really make games, and the games they did show looked awful, and also interchangeable. Which is the saddest part to me, was when I said, I just watched 3 PlayStation games, and I couldn't tell you which one is which, because the characters could be interchanged between those games.
So, anything stand out for you with the State of Play?
We Are Hell looked pretty cool. Still looks interesting. That was near the end. I mean, a Metal Gear Solid remake, no. An Onimushu remake, no. The new Onimushu, don't know enough about it.
Yeah, I mean, it had the Borderlands 4, another trailer for that.
That ain't State of Play, man. That game's coming to everybody. We
I know,
already seen it.
But I mean, it was at the State of Play. It was new footage we hadn't seen.
They even had the nerve to have Randy Pitchford there, and I'm like, you found a way to ruin the Borderlands 4 trailer by having Randy Pitchford.
I mean, the trailer looked pretty good, dude.
The trailer looked good, but then I saw Randy Pitchford.
Yeah, you got to put the hate aside, man.
No, I've told you, the Super Bowl has taught me I don't hate hard enough. My game is weak. I need to up my hate game. I feel like a rookie for a king.
Yeah, and I think Onimushu is a PlayStation exclusive, right?
I don't know where... I mean, not be me. I played Onimushu as a kid, but it ain't nothing where I went, ooh... Of all the games to bring back, they brought back, no, do Tenchi Muyo or something. I ain't thinking about Onimushu. Let me see. Way of the Sword. Let's see. What are you coming out on? Way of the Sword. Way of the Sword is going to be PlayStation 5, Xbox X. No.
Okay, so no, it's not. All right.
Ain't nothing exclusive. I mean, everything's coming to PC that they showed.
I think Capcom did say it was going to try to not do as many exclusives. Let's see. Single-player action game, Tides of Annihilation.
I don't remember that catching any of my attention. That's one of the ones that I went, oh, okay. Like, did you see it? Did you get a chance to look at it?
I did. This one didn't really hold out a lot on me. I mean, it looked pretty. And, I mean, that's the problem, man, is a lot of this stuff is just cinematic.
Everything for PlayStation is just pretty, though. That's all they do is really pretty games. I mean, no, they showed some gameplay, or at least the trailer I pulled up has some gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like some gameplay, and even the gameplay. I mean, the gameplay looks pretty.
Yeah, it's a pretty game, and I mean, maybe it'll be a new Bayonetta, but it looks like it's probably a Souls-like. Maybe. Let me see. Oh, I remember why I wasn't that interested in this. Yeah, I see it. Okay, and I'm not commenting.
You talking about the female protagonist?
No, almost all the characters are female.
But
the combat looks impressive, though.
Yeah.
Oh, God, what is she doing? Okay, anyway. Yeah, but no, like, it looks pretty. I don't do hack and slashes, though. I mean, that's the thing. I haven't done one in a while. So, I'm just like, okay, there's a lot of those. I mean, I didn't do Stellar Blade looks incredible. This looks like they're like a gothic fantasy Stellar Blade, which means that it probably will do really well and maybe be an amazing game. I'm watching it as I'm talking. The combat is phenomenal.
I mean, because it's not a PlayStation exclusive, I might actually pick it up. I like some hack and slashes. You know, the only reason I didn't pick up Stellar Blade is because it was the PlayStation exclusive, and even though it's coming to PC, it's gonna most likely have the PlayStation Network required logon, which I refuse to do.
Why does he look so much like Pinocchio from Lies of P in the face? Anyway, but no, the game actually, I'm going to rescind my comment. The game looks good. Actually, the combat, it looks really good. If you like Stellar Blade, this is better. Already, I think this looks actually better than Stellar Blade. It has an incredible anime, gothic fantasy feel. It reminds me of Anima Beyond Fantasy, like with the swords floating behind her. This game looks good. The characters are also hot. I mean, like I said, it's clearly like going off of the first Descendant Stellar Blade style of very buxom characters. So, I mean, which ain't my thing, I'll be honest. I'm not playing a game to look at a hot chick. I'm not a child. But
I'm saying the graphics well, I mean, the graphics.
But it's got a crowd appeal. Oh, wow. See, like that looks good. And so does that. Okay. I should have paid more attention to that. That looks like a really good game. If I felt like a hack and slash, I would grab this before the others because I'm not a sci-fi guy. This looks like the kind of hack and slash I would prefer to play by far. Yeah, no. So I will say that. I will praise Tides of Annihilation. That game looks incredible, actually.
Days Gone is getting a remaster.
That is dumb. That is dumb as hell. And everybody I know, I watched a bunch of PlayStation fanboys react. They are pissed about that.
But
nobody wanted a remaster of that game. Shut up. Nobody.
But it's going to have VR support.
Did Days Gone even do good in the first place? I thought it didn't really do good in the first place.
I didn't think it did well the first time, no. But, I mean, apparently they thought it did well enough to get a remaster.
You're looking too? Because I'm trying to find out. I'm like,
I mean, it got a 9 out of 10 on Steam and 6.5 out of 10 on IGN.
You sure? Because its all-time peak from 3.8 years ago was 27,000 players, which is okay for a single player, but dude, you know what I mean? That's not peak single player game numbers at all.
Well, it's another one of those games that it's hard to tell the Steam count because it didn't come on Steam till like 2 years after the console release.
Okay, because it got beat by the first Dying Light. Because I'm going into, zombie games. I'm trying to be fair here and go like, how does it measure up against its contemporaries? I mean, and it got curb stomped by Dying Light 2. So I remember Days Gone not being well reviewed. I'm surprised it has those high Steam numbers. I played.
Those Steam numbers are decent for a game that was 2 years delayed for PC.
I just know that I play zombie games. You know that I play zombie games, and I remember when I looked into Days Gone, everything I saw said, "Nah, don't bother." And then I went and got Dying Light 2 and other games because I heard it was Now, I don't think it needs to be remastered, though. I mean, people are still playing it. That's the funny part. People are playing this game, though. It's not dead. Let me say this. It's not dead. For a single-player game, it still has 4,336 24-hour peak. for a game of its age, that's good numbers. That's really good numbers. But that's not enough numbers that if you remake it, you're going to make your money back. People are still playing it. You know what I'm saying?
I will say, at least this go round, I mean, it does look like they're going to release the remaster is going to release hit the PC at the same time.
I mean,
it still isn't going to go to Xbox.
It seems like it's still being played, so hey, all right. Maybe I didn't play it because I don't know. Maybe it doesn't have multiplayer because, I usually try to find something I can play with Bloodaxe. But I remember it not topping my suggested zombie games, so I don't know why. I can't tell you.
Actually, it doesn't say it's going to PC either.
It may be a PlayStation exclusive. Well, you know what? It'll get there eventually.
Yeah, no, and it's not gonna be a great release because they fucking hold off on this crap again. They gotta quit doing this, dude. If they want to build a franchise and actually get people to play their games, they gotta start releasing them.
Well, why would you remaster it? A game that you already have out on PC, it's got people playing it. Why would you remaster it only for console? Why would you not go ahead and remaster it? Okay. The PlayStation, well, you know what? We covered that last episode. Y'all roll it back and see, Yeah, here we go. Los Go God is saying, making remastered PS4 games a thing is a sin that would never be forgiven. Yeah, I was talking with the folks Saturday, man, and they were like,
You know what I bet you it is, dude?
What?
I bet you because this game was released on PS4.
Yeah.
Near the end of PS4's life cycle. And then it was released 2 years later on PC. I bet you the PC version is probably already damn close to the remastered version.
Possible. What's funny is what you just mentioned is why they're doing it. But, dude, this is just sad that the PlayStation 5 has so few games. They got to remaster PlayStation 4 games just to fill the roster. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just making Days Gone 2. Like you would expect. All right, what else? We got, what even is that? Mind's Eye? I don't even remember that one. The heck was Mind's Eye?
I don't.
Man, that did not make a big impression. If I've literally, I remember looking at Tides. I just should have paid more attention.
Okay, I remember this. It just wasn't that.
It wants to be a cyberpunk. Okay, if you're just getting a really bad version of the video, does the game really look that bad?
I mean, I'm clicking through, so it's not having time to fully render everything.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Mind's Eye looks all right if you're into that. I'll give that at least it's a cyberpunk game.
Also, if you're looking at a rendering through a rendering,
No.
There it's clean.
I mean, it doesn't catch my eye. I don't see anything that wows me for that futuristic type of game. It looks like a basic shooter just set in a somewhat advanced setting. So I'd have to see more to get into it. Who makes it? Wait, go back up. Who's making it? Who's putting that together? So there's a former lead at GTA, but who's actually making it? Okay, well, I don't know. I mean, no, it doesn't say there. It's oddly absent. And I don't know how to feel about you if you're not working on the new GTA. That makes me feel like you're...
Developers build a Rocket Boy.
Who the hell is...
Build a Rocket Boy. Let's see. What all have they done?
Maybe it's the new studio. It's going to surprise us.
They've done Mind's Eye and Everywhere.
So, I don't know. You know what? Maybe it's got potential. We've been saying we need new studios. So, I'm going to root for them. I hope they pull it off. What else you got?
All right. Let's see.
Oh, you're still looking? I've already lost interest.
Let's see. Sonic Racing. The Liza P. We talked about the prequel.
I beat the game, so I can play the DLC.
New WWE 2K25.
the island, because where you're at matters. Side scroller, old school looking game. Nah. I mean, it looked interesting-ish, but I mean, it's retro. It's fairly retro.
Oh yeah.
But it'll be a fun little game. But I mean, that's the type of game that's probably gonna be 4 hours long or less. Metal Eden is adrenaline rush sci-fi first year's head on it. Hit that. Let's get a few reminders. It's amazing how much I don't remember of this. Like, did nothing make an impression?
I don't know, dude. I was like you, trying to watch the state of play. I kept dozing, dude.
Like, nothing popped. I remember that nothing popped at all. You know, that's just the truth. I remember distinctively being like, dude, nothing here is really impressing. If I was going to say what's the greatest sin of the PlayStation State of Play, it's like I turned my head and you seem to have already stopped running Metal Eden. So I take it didn't stand out.
Did you not watch any of that I played? Okay.
No, I did not. I told you lose interest in it so fast. I looked over here.
Yeah, no, it didn't look good, so don't worry about it.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. We're not doing great at covering this. It just didn't really pop.
Yeah, I mean, once again, everything that they showed that I was really interested in are things I'd already seen and I'm already keeping up with. Monster Hunter Wilds, you know, it's one that we've been keeping an eye on. Though the updating for Monster Hunter Wilds has been a little concerning. But Monster Hunter Wilds...
Wow, Lost Souls looks almost exactly like the Tides game. Just
what the hell are you talking about, man? Are you not paying attention here either?
You skipped a game. You skipped a game, so I went to look it up.
What game did I skip? Oh, I skipped Lost Souls.
Yeah, so I went
that's because it was nothing. It was another
Fooey, maybe, and there's a lot of pretty.
Yeah.
It's pretty, is all I can say. I think that's what it is. It was that everything...
I was just going to speed through this. You know, I wasn't going to cover every game because obviously
go ahead.
We haven't really cared.
But I want to at least know what we're skipping.
But like I was saying, Monster Hunter Wilds is something we've already been keeping up with. And
I played the beta.
That was sort of my problem with the state of play. It was either something I've already seen and already dismissed for the most part, or I've already seen and I'm already keeping up with, and they didn't really give me anything new that I hadn't really...
Yeah, or it was something where you didn't have enough to make a call. You know, You just got a lot of pretty screenshots and went, I don't know.
And I'm sorry, Split Fiction's dumb.
This is where I really started fading out. Split Fiction almost put me to sleep. And then this game after it, I thought I was still watching Split Fiction. Well, I told you, they all started to blend together. I looked up and I went, oh man, when did Split Fiction get horror? 18. I was like, because that character doesn't look much different from the Split Fiction character. So I went, whoa, there's a horror section on Split Fiction? Then I realized it was supposed to be a different game. Because look at that. Does that not look like the same face, man? Like, I thought the same people made both of these games, because I literally said you could take these characters and put them in each other's games, which will be interesting. I'd rather they be in this one, because this one looks like people die. But take the Split Fiction characters, throw them in that, and be like, oh no, you wrote a horror?
I can't tell if Low Skill God is being sarcastic in our chat room or not. He says Split Fiction Game of the Year.
I can't tell whatsoever with Low Skill God. It is hard to read. Low Skill God's tastes are unfathomable by mere mortals.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if it was Game of the Year, because we've sucked at Game of the Year lately.
You're not wrong. It probably will be Game of the Year. You know what, Low Skill God? You're right. It will probably be game, even if it doesn't sell a copy. It'll be Game of the Year.
Oh.
I mean, we almost got Veilguard last year, so.
Woo! All right, we got Pixel Junk series. This just looked dumb to me.
Yeah,
maybe I'm old.
Yeah, I was not paying that any attention whatsoever. That's another one of the games where I went, oh, that's for someone else.
Darwin's Paradox follows an
Darwin's
octopus.
Paradox is Little Nightmares with octopi.
Yes.
The Midnight Walk looked awesome. I'm amazed they don't have a shot of it. Midnight Walk with the claymation stop motion was pretty interesting. I actually think that's going to be a fascinating game to watch. Not something I'd be interested in playing, but I will definitely watch some playthroughs because of its very, very unique style that's very Tim Burton-ish. Stop motion Tim Burton. It looks really cool. Like, the style of animation is one of a kind. And I love Tim Burton's stop motion material. Yeah. So I actually will definitely be watching a playthrough of this game.
Yeah, no, it actually looks neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks fun. Let's see, where were we? Here we are. Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Expansion for Dave the Diver. Fascinating concept. Dave the Diver is an interesting little kind of fun game to watch. It's a little diving game. It's a bit silly. You fight a lobster with boxing gloves at one point. It's sit down, have fun game, and throwing in like a Yakuza will definitely push that to a new tier. So I'll watch it. Now, Hell Is Us looks like an interesting horror game. And we haven't had a good horror game. After the Calypso Protocol failed, we haven't had anybody really pitch for that high-tier horror, space horror game in a while. I don't know if this is in space, but, I mean, it looks a little bit futuristic. But the main thing is that it looks like it's going to be a decent horror game. It's a bit interesting. You know, I thought, like, this looks pretty cool. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no. Yeah, this one did catch my attention. And from what I saw, it was one of the things that caught more people's attention than anything else in the state of play. I saw several people talking about this one.
Yeah, most people walked away with Hell Is Us as the game that caught their eye. This game looks gritty, dark, traumatic. It looks like it's going to be something, man. And that walking through that area looked really cool. You know, they got the faceless. This looks like look at that. Like, this looks promising. Like, you can go get Tides. I'm going to probably look into this. If this hits PC, this is probably going to be the one I'm eyeballing.
I mean, it does list PlayStation 5, Xbox, and Steam. So.
Oh, there you go. I'm actually curious to Hell Is Us is the only one I saw that I would just even want to play. Though I will, like I said, push the Tides game, and on second look, if you like Stellar Blade, it looks better than Stellar Blade to me. And I'm not trying to hate on Stellar Blade, but I like fantasy, I like gothic, and I love the anime-like swords. I think that this was my winner of the PlayStation State of Play, followed by the Tides game. Apparently for Low Skill God, it's the Split Fiction is their winner, top game. What's yours? Was it Digimon? Was that your top one?
No, I'm just that's the next one up. It's a new JRPG. I mean, I will say, JRPGs are usually my thing, but I am not a Digimon fan, so I will probably not go anywhere near this. But for Digimon fans, it is.
Yeah, I did it. Digimon popped out a new game before Pokemon. I guess Pokemon's too busy trying to sue Pal World to put out a game.
Yeah. And this looks like it may be a PlayStation 5 exclusive as well. So,
Thank you.
So it's got two strikes against it. It's Digimon and it's PlayStation 5 exclusive.
Wow, okay.
What?
Didn't know you hated Digimon.
I don't like Digimon or Pokemon.
Oh, okay. The Five Nights at Freddy looks cool, but I don't think that's a PlayStation exclusive because the Five Nights games are mostly PC games. Like, almost all of them hit Steam, often before they hit consoles or they don't hit consoles. So I was quite surprised that this was in the state of play.
Well, and I mean, the trailer here doesn't say, but I'm sure that's going to be a multi-release. I mean,
it's there's no way it's not going to be on Steam, dude. I would be thoroughly surprised if it. Oh no! At the moment, it is showing as PlayStation. Oh no, it says Windows, which means it'll be on PC. Okay, Windows and PlayStation. It is not coming to Xbox. I don't know why. I don't know what Xbox is doing that nobody wants to put stuff on Xbox. I mean, thankfully, it ain't my problem. I'm a PC gamer, but still.
Well, I mean, it could be a fear, dude. I mean, right now, a lot of people keep thinking that the things that Xbox is doing they're gonna leave the console market. Now they keep saying they're not leaving the console market. They're just not focusing on forcing people over to the Xbox. But then again, if you don't have to pay the licensing fee to make your game for the Xbox, and it's not a big enough market on Xbox, I sort of get it, dude.
Yeah, the answer, Los Go God. I like watching FNAF, Los Go God, our other streamer, my son, he likes streaming horror games. He may want to get the FNAF game for his channel, but I don't play the FNAF games. The style doesn't scratch my itch. But it's a fun horror game series. I know all the lore. I'm a crazy FNAF lore hound. But no. Nah, then I did not play. Now, like I said, Hell is Us looks like my style of game. And otherwise, Tides actually really won me over when I actually paid attention. I feel bad. I apologize that I did not give that game the attention it should have, because it actually looked a lot better the more I watched of it. The rest of them looked worse the more I watched. So,
But, I mean, here we have Phil Spencer says, I'm not trying to move them all over to Xbox anymore. Basically saying, you know, in this interview that, well, you know, I'd love for people to be playing on Xbox because, of course, they make more money if you play on Xbox. But at the same time, they don't have a real strategy for it. And I think this is a failure on Xbox's, you know, I mean, I get... trying to sell games and trying to build a base and all that stuff. But I mean, this feels like you're giving up on your console.
They are, and here's what annoys me just on the stupidity of it. The reason they don't have a strategy is because the only games they release as exclusives are the crappy ones, dude. What comes out on Game Pass and comes out exclusively to Xbox is the worst of the options, and then they multi-platform the good stuff. That's a dumb strategy that you're not exclusiving the good games. You're literally giving people the option to get your best games on PlayStation while you put out games nobody wants to play exclusive to Xbox instead of trying to get some money back on those. It's dumb. It's incredibly dumb. I look at what hits Game Pass, and I see games I don't want to play. Then I look at what hits multi-platform, and it's the games people want to play. They're not even trying. I don't know if they ever did try. It almost feels like they gave up before they even started, if I'm going to be honest. I mean, what do you think? I don't think they ever really did.
Well, I mean, and this right here is sort of why... I mean, or not here, but here, I mean, Sony gets 30% of cut, you know? And so you're giving Sony 30% of your market, your cut of all your games you've sold for them to turn around and use that 30% to buy exclusives against you.
I know. Like, if I was going to be honest, you know, I would just put everything on Steam. And that's a better thing. Yeah, Steam takes 30%, but at least Steam's not against you. You know what I mean? Like, Steam's not going to take this money and pay people to not put games out on your console. I would go...
Well, Steam doesn't take 30% anymore. I think they only take 15%.
Oh, okay. It went down. That's even better. But that's my thing is that because Steam is the better way. I know they want to do stuff through their store, but I'm like, no, if I had to. But here's the thing: you're losing the same or less money. I would totally put it on Steam. I would have.
Well, I mean, but the thing is the way they're looking at it though is there's a whole console market out there for PlayStation, and those people don't have Xboxes and they don't have PCs, so Steam's not an option for them. They want to try to get their games out to as many people as possible, which I understand. I wish more companies would do that. But the problem is they're not going to do that. And the company that is not going to do it the most is Sony, who has almost a monopoly in the game console.
You're helping the guys that have a monopoly and who use their money to underhandedly undermine, ruin, and attack their competitors. Like you said, you're funding the people that are trying to put you out of business. That's dumb. I'd rather fund Steam, who's not trying to put me out of business. Microsoft ain't desperate for money. Microsoft is charging me a yearly fee for Microsoft Office. They're fine. They'll be okay. They don't need PlayStation's money that much.
Now, I will say,
they just ain't got no fight in them. That's the problem.
This right here is a lie, though. The Xbox, they did not do a good job on the Xbox Series X, man. It does not outperform the PlayStation to an extent that it needs to convince people to buy it either. So they don't have the hardware to win people over on hardware either. Now, maybe the next Xbox is going to blow PlayStation out of the water. Maybe they're going to, take a big loss on every Xbox. I don't know. Maybe that's their strategy.
They ought to do the original strategy, and they need to work with Steam and make the Xbox able to play Steam, and then PlayStation just becomes a waste of money because you have access to way too much with an Xbox. You're literally limiting yourself to like 25% of the games available. Because if Xbox can run Steam, basically it can also function as a Steam box. Bloodaxe would buy it and would finally join us on Steam.
That's true. Now, I mean, if you just make the Xbox a fucking PC, which is really what you should do anyway.
Dude, the only reason that some people don't PC game is that it's complex. They're afraid of all the tricks and bells and whistles. And that's easily handled by Xbox's really good UI. I still prefer the UI of Xbox. I still prefer the way it works. Having that do all the behind the scenes for you, and it signs you into Steam and handles that, and you just go and hit Steam and start playing games, will be amazing. Then with that, they can work on their compatibility to Steam so that you have a bigger player base across the two. Just make all the games essentially cross-platforms and you can run both. And you've suddenly got a very successful system that can be sold to people that don't want to build a PC.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I mean, yeah. Make the next Xbox just a Windows gaming box.
And let's be real, console prices are rising to the point that people don't realize that they've spent so much buying new consoles, they bought a PC that could have lasted them a while. Because think about it. If you bought a PlayStation 5...
You're still nowhere near a good gaming PC on price, dude.
Dude, what you call good is a monster. Do not listen to him. His standards are not normal. You can get a PC that will play games perfectly fine, not listening to Xeno. Shut up. I mean, I can't say nothing because I also bought, but he infected me with the brain rot that went, I mean, if you're not spending like $3K, you're not really built. No. Trust me. Because think about it. If you bought a PlayStation 5 and then you bought a PS Pro later, you spent like $1,200. You're telling me you can't build a game that can run almost everything on Steam. You can't build a PC that can run almost everything on Steam for $1,200. They can run it.
I mean, I could, but...
He's such a snob. Especially because you don't have to buy a monitor, because consoles are designed to work with your TV. You can pull this off. But my point is that it's doable. It's doable. It's absolutely doable to bake that box. But if they're not willing to do that, then who cares? I quit Xbox back when I thought they were punking out, and when they put out that weird, we covered it, that weird document about suggesting what you need to put into your games, and I just said, all right, man, If I'm not your target audience, then no problem. I'll go to PC. You know what PC says? Nothing. PC don't say nothing. They just have games. Nobody worries you about your PC, except people like you. I need a 3. Oh God. Okay, guys, I'm a light PC gamer. Light. Xeno's a hardcore. Anyway, we're gonna talk about Avowed now.
Yeah, so dude, there's been so many articles on Avowed. Of course, it comes out in 2 days now. They're all over the place.
But if you paid extra money, you could have played it early.
That's true. If you paid extra money, you could have played it 2 days ago.
You get all the jank up front, baby.
But, yeah, a lot of jank. Man, I can't make heads or tails out of these reviews. Like, every one of them says something completely different.
It's weird to have reviews say the combat's good and the combat is terrible, the magic is good, the magic is terrible, the world looks beautiful, the world is boring and empty. Like, I don't know. I have never seen... Like, I'll give Obsidian credit. And what I believe is happening is true. They're scrambling the story really well and leaving people very confused. Because I've never seen a game that I honestly says, I don't know if this game is... Well, I know it's not good, but for different reasons. Like, I've watched reviews of people who completed the game, because that's the biggest problem. A review from somebody who played the beginning of the game and a review from somebody that completed the game tend to be wildly different. And there are very few, though there are very few positive reviews from people who've completed it.
Well, do you think the mixed reviews may be because of Obsidian's stance on making games now?
It could be, because honestly, that would explain them only half doing it.
Yeah. So Obsidian says it won't chase huge profits or grow aggressively, and that's how it's going to last 100 years in the RPG business. The Avowed Studios expects each game to be a mild success. They're not looking for any home runs here, buddy. They just want to make it base to base.
They're literally aiming to be okay.
Yes.
So you still excited for Outer Worlds 2?
Oh man, you hit me. Oh.
I had to hit you. They're aiming for okay. They said it themselves. They're not even trying to succeed. So you can't see now you can't say nothing about me because I wasn't even trying to win. So there.
Oh man, this is so stupid. This is the stupidest thing I ever have heard come out of a corporation's mouth. I can't say that. I've heard a lot of stupid things recently. Shit.
We weren't even trying to make money. So there, you're up here trying to say we didn't make money, but we just wanted to make a little money anyway. So we hit our goals. Our goals kind of make it. We want to peter along. We want to peter along. We want to stay not a household name. That's our goal.
That is I can't believe this shit.
We want to be the leaders in mediocrity. We're going to be the leaders in mediocrity. Obsidian Games, they're all right. That's their new catchphrase. Obsidian Games, they're all right. They're not bad. I mean, they didn't want to be bad. They didn't say they're able to be bad. They're saying they want to be a little successful. Just do okay. They want to be a little mildly.
I mean, I get what you're saying. Losco God in Chatron says hyper profit chasing is what causes studios to get super obsessed with every game making COD money and then laying off 500 employees when they don't do it. And I get it. But you should never aim. Like, even if I have a low budget and a mild working environment, I still want to aim for excellence, not for mediocrity.
I mean, you can completely choose to not be obsessed with profit and growing aggressively, but still try to make every game very successful.
Yes. I mean, we see low-budget games that are very successful.
Well, because the term is you could be trying to brand yourself. You could be trying to make the game a brand, a franchise that lasts. Because here's what you want to do. You want your games to have brands and franchises that last 100 years. Dude, even after everything that Bethesda's done, we're all going to be front and center day one to see what Elder Scrolls 6 is about. That's branding. That's what you want to do.
And I mean, maybe he means it in his budgeting sense of we're budgeting in the assumption that it'd be a mild success. I mean, that's somewhat what he says here, but I don't know, man. I mean, you can keep the budget low, but I wouldn't want to get in the mindset that my shit's not going to be successful. Like I'm one of those people who, whatever I do, I may not put a ton of money behind it, but in my mind, it's going to work.
Well, we're also saying this for a reason. Honestly, reading the article, everything they're saying here is legit. Yeah, I know. But that is messing up. But I guess my problem is Avowed. Looking at Avowed after they said this, I'm like, if you said this before Avowed, I would have said, okay, they're trying to do this. But saying this after you put out a game that we're pretty sure is not going to do well, it does look like it's a deflection of the heat that's coming in. Combine this with some of the incredible toxicity of community managers and staff at Obsidian, this feels like damage control. I'm going to be honest. Now, it's not worded that way. It's well written. Clearly, they did not let any of the community managers contribute to this. But it's actually well written. But I'm not buying it. I'm sorry. No matter how well written it is, you effed up Avowed and you know it's not going to do great. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to be a mild success. In fact, I think that's genius. I believe Avowed is going to break even and hit it's not going to be a Veilguard. It's not going to be a massive loss. So by going and saying, it's like somebody saying, look, man, we weren't even trying to win the championship. We just wanted to get to the finals. Saying that as you're losing the game, you know what I'm saying, and about to get kicked out. Yeah, you're not going to take it as serious as they said that at the start of the season. Does that make sense, Zeno?
I think you can be competitive. I think you can be ambitious and not necessarily be overzealous in the pay office, and pay an arm and a leg. I think,
keeping your mindset to keeping the company fluid and not getting obsessed with it, but trying to make every game as great as you can and aiming for game of the year and a top game isn't a bad thing. I get what you're saying.
I mean, I think when you don't have a successful game, that should bother you some. I think a mild success should be bothersome to you. I
wonder why you weren't a great success. I agree, because the question is, does this mean you settle and thus you don't push for better, like Outer Worlds, the first one, where I kept thinking that they were going to put out this DLC or patch that was going to make that game awesome. I really do. You remember, I kept saying that, dude. I kept saying, oh, man, when the DLC. Then later on, I suddenly said, did they ever do the DLC? And you're like, I think they did. And we went and looked and went, oh, okay, it didn't do anything. Heck, you're feeling that way about Starfield, even though that's a different company. You're thinking Starfield, we argued back and forth, me and Zeno, about it. Starfield's dead. Before the show started, we were fussing about me saying Starfield's dead and him saying, nah, man. So I worry that this will make you pull all right, man, we made the little money we're going to make on the Vow. Let's move on. And I'm like, well, a little DLC, a little something, man, add a little more. You could jazz this up. But seeing that they did that with Outer Worlds, in my opinion, that they just kind of looked at it and said, it is what it is. I'm worried they're going to do the same thing with Avowed, that it's going to come out.
I mean, what? They already came out and said, we're probably not going to do DLC for Avowed. We're probably not going to do a lot more with this game. I mean, they already did that.
Oh, yeah, that was this game? I remember we did cover somebody talking about that. I thought, oh, wow. So, yeah, there you go, dude. When you followed up with this, it's them going, we'll probably break even, and that's good enough. Well, that's good enough for now. And honestly, it's not, because they're owned by Microsoft. So you can say whatever the heck you want. You don't own your company. So this whole message, I just realized, this is pointless. They can say whatever the heck they want. Arcade Studios probably was planning to be open for 100 years. Heck, Hi-Fi Rush was a pretty good game.
Oh, I knew you were going there. I knew it.
So, yeah, Obsidian, we're going to be open for 100 years. A mild success is fine with us. It ain't fine with the boss. You don't get to make the call on whether you're open 100 years, sucker. You're owned. That's stupid. I mean, the janitor hopes the place don't shut down. He has no say-so in the matter, does he? They've shut down studios with better games and better success on their record. They looked at it and they shut down the studio for not making enough money on the game.
Well, and I mean, the thing is, too, man, like you were saying earlier, once again, it's a mild release and it's an Xbox exclusive.
And you're not planning to do any DLC, so you're not going to make any extra money on it. And what's their next project? Outer Worlds 2? They better hope that slams, because we know with Microsoft, you can't fail that often. Heck, sometimes you can't succeed enough to stay open, but you can't fail too many times, man. Bethesda's only around because Elder Scrolls 6. And trust me, if Elder Scrolls 6 fails, Bethesda's dead on the spot. Because that's the thing. The Elder Scrolls like franchise is so massive, I can see Microsoft going, we'll see what you do with that, because you messed up. We'll see what you do with that. But if they bomb the Elder Scrolls 6, they're dead. They are absolutely shut down. Because they got nothing else. That's it. Elder Scrolls and Fallout. And, Vault 70, yeah, dumb. So, they're even on it. But Obsidian's going to be on the chopping block, man. If Outer Worlds 2 doesn't hit, and that's if they get to Outer Worlds 2. But I think if Valve's going to break even. I think it'll be a mild success. I think it'll at least make its money. It might even make a little more, but it's got one big thing working against it, Zeno. It's on Game Pass, which really cuts into how much money it can make. Really.
Yes and no, man. I mean, we see a lot of successful games that are on game. The couple of games that have been successful on Game Pass have had excellent Steam sales. So I don't think there's as many people on Game Pass that really hurts a game.
I mean, if the game is a good game, but that's my thing. I think looking at the pre-purchase sales, which there's no reason why you wouldn't have pre-purchased the game if you plan to pay for it. Let's be real. Why would you not get the game early if you're planning to pay money instead of playing it on Game Pass? I think they've already got the majority of the sales they were going to get on that, and that the sales on release is only going to be a little bit more. I think they've probably gotten 50% or more of their sales already. So,
Yeah. We'll see.
But Outer Worlds 2 is supposed to come out this year. There's no hard date on Steam, but it's supposed to come out this year. So maybe that's why they ditched Avowed. They're pitching all their effort into Outer Worlds 2 since Avowed already fell off. But I don't know. I don't think Outer Worlds was a stronger brand as Avowed. People like Skyrim-like fantasies. I don't think it's going to get the hype. To give you a perfect example, I watched a bunch of videos leading up to Avowed and people talking about it. Ain't nobody talking about Outer Worlds 2 except us. I think it's me and you, and that's it.
Well, we'll see. Next topic we got is a little difficult. Bobby Kotick says Activision Blizzard harassment lawsuits were fake and simply a plan to drive up union membership. Now, this one I found interesting because, of course, right now we have all this different stuff coming out of funded, attacks and this and that. And basically, Bobby's trying to say that this was one of them.
My reply to that is, and Randy Pitchford had that porn on his thumb drive because of the magic trick.
Yeah.
He wanted to know how to do
Well, that's the thing. I'm like, but
trick.
There was too much to say it was 100% fake anyway.
And of course, Randy was right about the movie, man. Borderlands 4 was a great movie. He told us that. So, yeah. You're going to believe Bobby, you might as well believe Randy.
The only reason I think this article makes it out is because there's so much weird stuff going on in the world today that it's hard to say if something is real or true or fake. You know, it's just like almost. But I mean, we all heard about the Cosby Room, and I think the Cosby Room actually had evidence behind it. So
Bobby Kotick is a super villain, man. I'm sorry. I know you're not supposed to judge a guy, but I've seen him talk, I've heard him, and I've seen the salary to pay him. And you don't get paid that much for what he was doing unless you got the bodies buried, man.
You are right, man. His pay wasn't
his salary was over, he was the highest paid. Screw gaming CEO. He was one of the highest paid CEOs in the world. Dude was up to something. You don't make that kind of money.
I would give him the benefit of the doubt, knowing how some of these unions work, that it was fluffed. You know, once it came out, they threw as much on the fire as they could.
Oh no! Only 20 of the 25 assault cases against you are real. Wow, Bobby, I guess we're wrong about you.
What I'm saying is, probably wouldn't be a good union if it didn't.
Business is business, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I believe, well, I don't know, man. I really don't believe Randy. I might believe Bobby wanted Randy. I don't know why. I just hate Randy Pitchford so much, and I can't even tell you really what he did. It's just every time he opens his mouth, he pisses me off. He's the kind of guy that you just want to punch in the face every time you see him.
I get that.
I don't know why. He just seems like a scumbag. Bobby seems like a corrupt CEO. Randy just seems like a scumbag, man. I feel bad because I will say I don't know the guy. I really don't. I can't say that this is based on just the things they say about him. He just rubs me the wrong way. He just really does. We are oil and water, man. But
speaking of getting punched in the face, wow, man, 39% critic score. I'm shocked to see a Disney movie with that low of a critic score.
They spent all their money on the audience score, man.
I mean, dude, I usually trust the audience score more so. At least
except that the audience score is so bad everywhere else. Most of the other scores are 5 or less out of 10, man. It's odd that it's so high on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's 50% at other locations. It seems like the score is really bad.
Well,
yeah,
let's see. Metacritic says 42. Now, is this critic scores? Yeah, these are critics now.
User reviews it. It's right there.
User reviews are 4.5. Okay.
Is that 4.5 out of 10? Oh, that is 4.5 out of 10.
That is out of 10.
So, yeah, there you go, man. Like I said, how do you have less
That
than
is weird. You're right.
Everywhere else but Rotten Tomatoes? Disney bought it's because people ignore the critic scores, dude. I mean, pay attention. They realized that people ignore critic scores. So they paid off Rotten Tomatoes. Because remember, the guy used to work for Disney. Disney practically owns Rotten Tomatoes. So they went with the audience score this time, which is smart, I will say, because we almost fell for it until I said, hold on, man. These scores are terrible everywhere else. And I don't mean by a little bit. They're like half the score. That's a huge
6.1 at IMDb.
42% audience on Metacritic? Nah, man. I don't trust that 80%.
No, 4.5 out of 10 audience. 42 is critic.
Which is equivalent of 45%.
Yeah.
4.5 out of 10 is 45. So, 45% versus 80. 6.1 versus 80. A lot of these people go to all of these sites to rate something. So Rotten Tomatoes has a exorbitantly high score compared to all of its contemporaries, except the critic score, which is bombed everywhere. I believe Disney fluffed the audience score. And what's funny is that 51, that's not the certified. Yeah, the certified is like you said, 39. It's dead bottom.
Yeah.
But I know why. I told you why. I don't know if you want to mention it on the show, but I told you why it got a bad critic score. It doesn't hit the right notes, man, to get the high critic.
Oh, yeah, I got you. But I will say box office actually looks pretty good on this, man. I mean, box office, first 192 million for the launch weekend.
Well, the launch weekend started on Thursday, so that's $192 since Thursday, if I'm right.
Well, yeah, the launch that's the same though for every launch weekend.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a Marvel movie. I'm not surprised if it made a little bit of money. I don't believe they spent 180 on it. I'll bet blood on that. Like, nah, man. I don't believe it's a $180 million movie at all. They'll never sell that to me. Unless they were doing all those reshoots and not paying Mackie and the rest of them for the reshoots. Like, they had to stop paying somebody.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know how budgets work as far as all that goes, and who was willing to take what cuts or what government funding they got from where.
Yeah, we don't know how much of the movie got paid for by the government, but I don't know. It doesn't have enough. I mean, I'm telling you, it lacks the what the critics want to see. It does not have enough. There's not a strong female character there showing everybody up.
I mean, 192 million, dude. That's pretty good.
The movie lacks representation, man. One black guy is not enough to get the critic score. I mean, heck, they had a white president. You know that wasn't gonna fly.
192 million, man. That's all I gotta say.
The critic score. I'm talking about the critic score.
I don't give a shit about the scores, man. I'm talking money. The movie's still making money.
Yeah. I didn't say it wasn't going to make money. I said it was going to be terrible. It can make money and be terrible if it's a Disney movie. Unfortunately.
All I'm saying is we'll have to see what next week's numbers are. Because, I mean, if it makes money next week as well, then maybe those user scores are right.
Oh, all right. Let me see. Its money's about the same that the Eternals got when it went for the domestic. What did the Eternals make across the board?
An opening weekend.
Yeah, hold on. They keep just showing a domestic, and you're not doing a domestic. You're
Eternals worldwide, they made 402, but let's see, what was their opening weekend? Their domestic opening was only 71.
Well, the domestic for that one was 80-something.
No, it was 100,000 was the domestic opening for.
What is that? Hold on. Okay.
So, I mean, they beat the domestic. Okay, and then the gross was 164. So Eternals did 164 to this one's 192 for opening. Oh wait, no, that was its gross.
No, it was 88.5. They said it soared toward 100 million on the holiday weekend. It was 88 versus 78. They slightly beat Eternals opening weekend.
Opening weekend by Box Office Mojo, $100 million, 92 million international. Total worldwide.
And why does domestic opening say 88.5? I'm basing it on that 88.5 there. Why does that say 100,000?
Well, because Sunday's not over yet, so they haven't got all the numbers in. But they're usually pretty good about hitting pretty damn close. So
I'll give you that then.
Because the weekend's not over, this is a slight prediction.
All right. So they beat them, so they may hit around 402. If their budget is correct, they need to hit 400 million to be comfortably, made their money back and starting to make money. Now, not gonna make a lot. Even with that, if you go by the rules of they need 360 million, they hit 400 million or so, then they made a small.
This is saying 88 is, so I don't know. Maybe it is 88.
President's Day weekend is what's pushing it up. They're saying
it's including
tomorrow.
Monday.
No, yeah, which hasn't even happened yet. So I'm not crazy. See, boy, you better stop trying to argue with me and embarrassing yourself in front of this person. You know what I'm saying? Oh, no, there's two of them. I'm saying you need to stop testing me 88.5. They beat them by 10 million. Not 10 million. They beat them. But that means that they may land in the 400-ish million range, which is a profit. Now, is it enough to profit, like to be worth the effort? No. I don't consider a 40 or $50 million profit on one of these movies to be any Disney money. Let's be real. And I don't think Disney considers that. Because a perfect example is they almost erased the Eternals, and it got 402. You know, it made 402 million. Now, I don't know what it cost. That's a good question. You keep the people entertained. Let me see what the Eternals cost. $236 million, so it was a lot higher. So I understand it. If they need to make double, they didn't hit that.
Yeah.
So
it cost $50 million more than what Captain America supposedly cost.
And they didn't even have Harrison Ford. This is why I think they're lying. Because I think Harrison Ford is a big chunk of that $180 million.
I think Harrison Ford's old.
That don't mean he's cheap. Well, they did get him to do that Indiana movie. Maybe he is cheap. Because, oh my goodness, that was a tragedy. I'm sad now. I just remembered the indie movie. I made myself. I guess you got me back for Outer Worlds 2, Jab. Now I feel bad.
All right. And with that, we're going to close out the show. You got anything before we go?
On.
Nothing? Good. All right, guys. Be sure to go to Dicejunkies.com where you find links everywhere online. Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell on our YouTube channel. And as every week,
we hope you enjoyed.